You know that feeling that you get in the back of your spine where you're playing a really, really good game? Like a game that you would consider like a 9 or a 10, like a masterpiece, if you will, you know? Where you finally have that moment where the game hits you from all sides and every aspect of it just seems amazing. I've had this feeling before, you know, Hollow Knight, Nier Automata, Pseudo-Regalia, Nine Souls, Balatro. How? I'm at the first stake. I'm literally on the first stake. No. I mean, I've been really enjoying games lately, but to, you know, find that feeling again, I've kind of just been waiting on my highly anticipated games to drop and just waiting for a certain series that I like to get sequels. You know how it is, bro. Peeping the devs' YouTube channel, scrolling through their socials. You know it's really, really bad when you go to the Kickstarter and then you see all the backers just start dooming and then you start peeping your backlog. The only problem is that, my backlog has like 300 games in it. So, let's play Dodge or Dare. Dodge or Dare, roll the dice, pick a card. Oh. Welcome to Rain World, the most painful masterpiece I have ever played. And there might be some slight spoilers, so be warned. I won't spoil any major like story or lore pieces or anything, but just know that this is a beautiful world. And it's not even like this game is super new or anything. They just released DLC for it, but you know, it's just so good that I honestly had to talk about it. But that's enough needless exposition. Come with me, my friend, and let's learn how to survive. Which is kind of funny because you learn how to die a lot. So I might as well kick it off with the first thing that you properly learn in this game. Your surroundings. Because pretty early on, you learn not to trust them. Because you see, in Rain World, you aren't at the bottom of the food chain, but you are very, very low on it. And for the sake of the vid, I'll only talk about the survivor. Because you play as creatures called slug cats, and in the base game, you have access to 3 slug cats. The monk, the survivor, and the hunter. They pretty much act as difficulty modes in the order that I presented them, you know, easy mode, normal mode, hard mode. And as a survivor, you are a slug cat that was separated from his family and thrown into the harsh landscape of the first area, the outskirts. So, yeah, let's go explore. Do not get too captivated by the beauty in this abandoned land, because it will show its thorns just as soon as it shows its petals. You're immediately greeted with a harsh environment. The entire area seems just neglected. The industrial elements indicate that some form of society used to be here, but everything is so dilapidated. I mean, even the plants in this area are just dying and you only see glimpses of some new growth with the greenery. But there has to be something beneath the surface with this. After all, why is this little yellow thing following you and why is it helping you? The first thing you're taught is to scavenge for food, fill up your little pips in the bottom left, and then when you fill them up enough, you can find a safe place to sleep in before the rain comes. You see a little symbol change and then you're on to the next cycle. And that's it. That's all you know. Your little yellow overseer can give you frame of reference to where to go, but to be honest, you're on your own at this point. Until you find out that you're not all alone. But that is not an ally. Welcome to my favorite part of this game, the soul of Rain World, the most agonizing, brutal, rage-inducing, stupidest RNG simulator ever. But it's not really an RNG simulator. Welcome to the ecosystem of Rain World, where we get to see the difference between a slug cat and a vulture. While you're idly picking berries in a moderately safe area, somewhere off screen, some creature beyond human comprehension is terrorizing the landscape. Because in Rain World, there's not only a bigger fish, there's also a bigger god. And at times, this game will have you thinking there is no god. Bruh. The shift from the tutorial to the actual game is kind of crazy because it feels like the world just opens up to you. Because you see, when enemies are off screen, it doesn't matter. They're still moving around and interacting with other enemies or just creatures on the map. The world doesn't stop just because you don't see it. You find a blue flying bug that is extremely ugly and annoying. Why not just grab it and use it to float you to somewhere that you need to go? It's the only thing it's good for anyway. And certain predators are just constantly on demon timing and you can reason with others. It just all depends on how you interact with your surroundings. You see a shiny little marble on the floor, maybe you want to bag that and use that to trade with one of the creatures you bump into, and you might just be able to live a little bit longer. Ethical Rain World transactions. So the creature allows you passage to the next area only for you to brutally die to the next enemy in the other room. Remember what I said about the world moving off screen and that this is a real ecosystem? There are absolutely no rules to that, meaning that you could go to the next room and the instant that your screen changes to the next one, there could be an enemy lined up to just immediately clip you. And the lizards are absolutely my mortal enemy. And I don't say lizards as in in quantity, I mean lizards as in there's so many different types of lizards. The white one in particular is super annoying, bro. Just look at this. Just look at this. Yep, right there. Yo, okay. Yo. Cracked. YouTube. Yeah, no. And not only that, he has a scorpion hook. And then you have the axolotls, and you can probably take a guess at what they're proficient in, being just as annoying. The green ones are probably the ones that you're gonna see first. And honestly, at first you'll probably think they're like super hyper aggressive and annoying, but I'm very thankful for that, and I'm thankful that they're so territorial because they're stupid. And then on the other hand, you have Mr. Pink Lizard. I'm so sophisticated, look at me, I can climb poles. Die. And then you have the blue one. I'm not gonna lie, I kind of just feel bad for the blue one. They're kind of a non-factor. They're always injured when I come across them for some reason. I mean, free food on the hunter route, so more for me. With that said, this AI is ridiculously smart. Almost every enemy will camp you out or bait you out in this game, especially the vultures. God, do I hate the vultures. And for once, the lizards actually agree with you, because once the vulture appears, everyone scatters. Oh, did I say vulture? I meant vultures. There's a variation that literally has aimbot. There are no attack patterns to learn in this game. The only thing you're learning is behavioral patterns. There's no extra skill or ability to gain. There's no extra HP upgrade or anything like that. There is simply adapting, because they may be lizards, they may be vultures, they may be giant spiders, but you are the legendary slug cat, and you have access to the one thing they do not have: movement tech. We will not only survive, we will prosper and still die. You got your basic stuff: wall jumping, lunging, rolling, and then you got the stuff that requires momentum to input, which is a little bit more difficult, like backflipping. And the slide too, I love the slide. It really puts the slug in slug cat. And you can use certain things in combination with each other, like backflipping and then going straight into a roll. And then you have the stuff that's hard to do consistently or just straight up hard to do, like turn momentum, which is just this game's version of bunny hopping, I'm pretty sure. Then you got slide pouncing, coyote jumping. I mean, there's just tech on tech on tech. This game's movement system is super expansive, and I highly recommend you watch Fist Lordorino's video on it. And even the most basic movement tech can get you out of crazy situations. Enemies can't kill what they can't touch. Except for scabs and king vultures and white lizards. You know what, we just might be cooked. But if you are able to maneuver through this harsh, unforgiving land, then you are rewarded with an understanding of why the world is the way it is. Because, you know, for a game named Rain World, I haven't talked about the rain at all, really. And when the rain falls, it beats down on the world below it. It almost acts like a great equalizer, because nothing can survive this rain. The rain reigns over all. That's a bar. But in all seriousness though, spoilers ahead, so, tread carefully. I won't spoil any major plot points or anything like that within the lore, but I'll give you a basic rundown so you can kind of understand the trajectory of what's going on. But if you do not want to be spoiled at all, then you can skip to this timestamp that's on the screen right now. Going once, going twice, okay, let's get into it. Way before the events of the main game, you had these beings called the Ancients. Now, we don't know much about the Ancients at all, but we do know they built temples on top of what is called the Void Sea. The Void Sea is this weird golden liquid that just seems to dissolve any creature that goes inside of it. And it also so happens to be a really good source of energy, which leads us to the benefactors, the primary reason why Rain World's world is the way that it is. You know how when you successfully gather food and sleep, your karma goes up and you reach the next cycle, and when you die, you go back down the cycle, and it just seems to repeat. Well, the benefactors were aware of this system, but the benefactors did not like that all too much, so they wanted a solution to their problem. They wanted a permanent end. They wanted ascension out of this cycle. And when they discovered the Void Sea, the floodgates were open. They found out two things. You can use void fluid from the Void Sea to make technological advancements, and you can use it to permanently remove yourself from the cycle. So all focus was purely put into finding the most efficient way to use this void fluid and ascend in mass. And along the way, one of the inventions that they managed to think up was purpose organisms. And some of the creatures that you see in Rain World, including yourself, are descendants of purpose organisms. Pretty cool detail. But the cost of ascending wasn't free, and I'm not talking about currency, because there is a chance for you to have a failed ascension, which would cause you to turn into an echo, or more or less make you leave a remnant of yourself behind in some way, and you'd be stuck in a ghost-like state there, or your remnant would forever. So you would never properly ascend. So an alternative method of ascension needed to be made. An easy, efficient, foolproof method that would ascend all living and non-living things all at once. And how would they go about trying to achieve this solution? Getting other people to do it for them, obviously. Now, who are these people or things? How does it all tie into the rain, and what's going on in the main story that takes place in the present? Well, just play the game and find out. Or you could just watch Solemn Sunday's video on the lore. I mean, I think that one was a pretty good one personally. But you're not gonna find all the answers here. What you will find out is purgatory. You ever wanted to run the gauntlet? See how many enemies you could take out? See how many rounds you could survive before inevitably succumbing to death? Oh, no. Well, you're lame and it's fun. Welcome to arena mode, absolute torture. In the best way possible though, you can set how long it takes for the rain to kick in so you have more time to survive or kill. You can set AI aggression, which is, why would you ever do that? You can set the order of rooms that you go in, and you can make it to where rooms repeat. Also, you can unlock rooms by collecting these little things. And the cherry on top, multiplayer and creative mode. So you can just turn it to totally accurate Rain World simulator and kill your friends if you want. Also, the DLC is amazing. Definitely beat the base game first and at least do the Survivor and the Hunters campaign, but the DLC is crazy. Downpour is absolute cinema. The Artificer and the Spearmaster, oh my god. And that's just 2 of the 5 slug cats that they have, with new campaigns, new enemies, more stuff. Like, it's insane. And the added clarification that you get to the story is beautiful. And the mods are interesting, to say the least. Silksong is real. Silksong is real. Oh my god. Rain World is not just a game. It's a way of life. But in all seriousness though, this game just carries what I really like about other games that I hold to high regards. And that's the beauty of decay. In Hollow Knight, you see a dying world. In Nier Automata, you see a dead world that is now trying to reclaim itself. And in Rain World, you see a neglected world, clinging to a state between life and death. There's so much new life being birthed, yet everything seems to be drowned out with the rain. Everything is trapped in this cycle. And amidst the constant scavenging, running, fighting, the quiet moments seem almost otherworldly. But in the back of your head, you know you can't stay still for long. You know you can't stay in this moment. You can't cherish it because you know that the rain is coming. And eventually you're gonna have to eat. You're gonna have to sleep. You're gonna have to either advance the cycle by making it, or regress the cycle in a way by dying. But it's all the same loop. But just like a slug cat would, we press on regardless, because either way, somebody is waiting on us. Now go play Rain World.
Up in here with my tool, they can find you in the ditch, yeah.